If you're over 60, I want you to picture something most people never think about. While you sleep tonight, your kidneys don't sleep. They keep working, filtering your blood, balancing your fluids, clearing out waste. Roughly 30 gallons of blood every single day, even at 2 a.m. while you're dreaming. And here's the part almost nobody talks about. What you eat in the 2 or 3 hours before bed can either support that overnight workload, or quietly add to it. Most kidney videos only tell you what to cut out. Less sodium, less processed food, less phosphorus. That's true, and it matters. But there's a second half of the story that almost never gets covered. The foods you can actively add to your evening routine that are genuinely backed by research, and that fit into a kidney-conscious diet. Today we're going deep on 8 fruits. Not a random list pulled off a blog. Every single one of these is referenced by real institutions. The National Kidney Foundation, the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health, Mayo Clinic, and peer-reviewed research indexed on PubMed. I'll walk through exactly why each fruit made the list, what the actual research shows, not exaggerated claims, the real findings, and roughly how these fruits fit into a kidney-friendly plate. I'll also flag the one fruit on this list that comes with a real catch, one that most videos like this conveniently leave out. And at the end, I'll show you a simple 3-fruit bedtime bowl you can put together tonight with stuff from almost any grocery store. One thing before we start. I'm not a doctor, and this isn't medical advice. If you have chronic kidney disease, you're on dialysis, or you're on blood thinners like warfarin, some of what applies to a generally healthy adult does not apply to you the same way. Potassium and phosphorus limits change a lot depending on your specific stage of kidney function. So think of this as a starting point for a conversation with your doctor or a renal dietitian, not a replacement for one. Let's get into it. Beans how your kidneys actually work. Before we talk fruit, a 90-second refresher on why this even matters. Your 2 kidneys are each about the size of a fist, sitting just below your rib cage on either side of your spine. Their main job is filtration. Blood flows in, and inside each kidney are roughly 1 million tiny filtering units called nephrons. Those nephrons pull waste products and extra fluid out of your blood and send them out of the body as urine, while keeping the things your body needs, like the right balance of minerals and proteins. Kidneys also do a few jobs most people don't associate with them. They help control blood pressure, they help make red blood cells, and they help keep your bones healthy by processing vitamin D. As we age, kidney function naturally declines somewhat, even without disease. And 2 of the biggest risk factors for kidney damage are the same 2 conditions so many of us are managing after 60, high blood pressure and diabetes. That's exactly why anti-inflammatory, blood pressure friendly, blood sugar stable foods matter so much for kidney support, and it's exactly what ties these 8 fruits together. Now let's get into fruit number 1. Cherry fruit number 1, Tart cherries. Tart cherries are the fruit most associated with nighttime eating, and there's a real reason for that. They're one of the richest natural food sources of melatonin, the hormone your body uses to regulate its sleep-wake cycle. Research on Montmorency tart cherries, the most studied variety, has measured melatonin directly in the fruit, and separate clinical trials have looked at what happens when people actually drink tart cherry juice. In a well-known crossover study, adults who drank tart cherry juice twice a day saw a measurable increase in urinary melatonin along with improvements in sleep efficiency and total sleep time compared to a placebo. A more recent systematic review pulling together 7 interventional studies found that several of them reported improvements in sleep duration, sleep efficiency, or how quickly people fell asleep, along with reduced markers of inflammation like CRP. The review was honest about the limitations too. The studies used different doses and different cherry preparations, so the evidence, while promising, is still described as limited and mixed rather than definitive. Not every study found an effect. One trial in female athletes, for example, found no change in melatonin levels at all. So the honest takeaway is, tart cherries show real, research-backed promise for sleep support, especially for people dealing with mild insomnia, but they're not a guaranteed fix, and results vary by person and by preparation. Now here's the kidney angle, and this is where a lot of videos get sloppy. Cherries actually come in 2 nutritionally different categories, and it matters which one you're eating. According to the National Kidney Foundation, sour or tart cherries are considered a low potassium food, generally under 200 milligrams per roughly half-cup serving, while sweet cherries run higher, often over 200 milligrams in the same serving size. Both types are low in sodium and low in phosphorus, and the National Kidney Foundation notes cherries are also low in oxalates, meaning they're unlikely to contribute to kidney stone formation for most people. For context on portioning, one dietitian resource lists a half-cup serving of cherries, about 9 cherries, at around 170 milligrams of potassium and 16 milligrams of phosphorus, which is a genuinely modest amount for most kidney diets. The catch with tart cherries specifically shows up when you switch from whole fruit to juice or concentrate. A cup of tart cherry juice can carry a meaningfully higher potassium load than a serving of the whole fruit, plus a natural sugar content that can run into the 30+ grams per cup range depending on the product. If your doctor has you watching potassium closely, which is common in later stage CKD, or if you're not on a potassium-wasting dialysis modality, a small handful of whole tart cherries is a very different food than a full cup of concentrated cherry juice. Whole fruit is almost always the more kidney-conservative choice. Bottom line for tonight: a small bowl of pitted tart cherries, roughly a half cup, is a reasonable, research-supported bedtime choice for most people focused on general kidney wellness. Just talk to your care team before making cherry juice concentrate a daily habit if you have diagnosed kidney disease. Blueberries. Fruit number 2, blueberries. Blueberries show up on nearly every healthy aging list for a reason, and kidney health is no exception. Blueberries are one of the most concentrated fruit sources of anthocyanins, the deep blue-purple pigments that also give tart cherries their color. Anthocyanins are a type of flavonoid, and flavonoids are studied for their antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activity. Because chronic low-grade inflammation and oxidative stress are two of the mechanisms researchers believe contribute to the gradual decline of kidney function over time, especially alongside high blood pressure and blood sugar issues, a fruit that's both anti-inflammatory and genuinely low in sodium and phosphorus is a strong fit for an evening snack. From a kidney nutrient standpoint, blueberries are typically classified as a lower potassium fruit compared to bananas, oranges, or cantaloupe, which is one reason renal dietitians frequently list them as a go-to fruit for people managing CKD, as long as portions stay reasonable, a small bowl rather than an oversized cup. There's also a practical, everyday benefit worth mentioning. Blueberries are naturally sweet without added sugar, which makes them a satisfying way to handle a nighttime sweet craving without reaching for something processed and high in sodium or phosphorus additives. Think crackers, chips, or packaged desserts, which tend to be far worse for kidney health than most people realize because of hidden phosphorus additives used as preservatives. A reasonable evening portion is around 3/4 of a cup to 1 cup of fresh or frozen blueberries, plain, with no added syrup or sugar. Strawberry. Fruit number 3, strawberries. Strawberries round out the berry trio that shows up again and again in kidney nutrition resources, and the National Kidney Foundation specifically lists strawberries among fruits worth highlighting for their health profile. Like blueberries, strawberries are rich in antioxidant compounds, and peer-reviewed research has specifically examined strawberries for their capacity to reduce markers of oxidative stress in the body. Oxidative stress is essentially cellular wear and tear caused by unstable molecules called free radicals, and the kidneys, because they filter such a large volume of blood continuously, are particularly exposed to this kind of damage over time. A diet with regular antioxidant-rich foods is one of the more consistently recommended general strategies for supporting long-term organ health, kidneys included. Nutritionally, strawberries are a lower potassium, lower phosphorus fruit, and they're naturally low in sugar compared to many other fruits, which also makes them a reasonable choice for people managing blood sugar alongside kidney health. Remember, diabetes is one of the leading causes of kidney disease, so anything that helps you avoid a big blood sugar spike before bed is doing double duty. One practical note: fresh, whole strawberries are the better choice over strawberry preserves, jams, or dried strawberries with added sugar, which can carry a meaningfully different nutrient profile once sugar and preservatives are added in. A good bedtime portion is around 1 cup of sliced fresh strawberries, which is a satisfying serving size without pushing potassium or sugar too high. Red apple. Fruit number 4, apples. Apples are one of the most universally recommended fruits in kidney nutrition, and they earn that reputation honestly. The reason apples come up so often in kidney-specific meal plans is simple. They're naturally low in potassium, low in phosphorus, and low in sodium, which, for someone managing later-stage CKD where those minerals need to be watched closely, makes apples one of the easier, safe, fruits to reach for without a lot of second-guessing. There's also a blood sugar angle. Apples contain a meaningful amount of soluble fiber, particularly in the peel, which slows the rate at which sugar enters your bloodstream after eating. That matters at night specifically, because a sharp blood sugar spike right before bed can affect sleep quality and, over the long run, contributes to the kind of blood vessel and kidney stress that comes with poorly controlled blood sugar. Since diabetes-related kidney damage is one of the top drivers of chronic kidney disease in adults over 60, a fruit that supports steadier blood sugar is doing real, practical work for long-term kidney protection, not just tonight's snack. Apples are also just about as convenient as a bedtime fruit gets. No prep, no washing a pile of berries, no cutting. A medium apple, eaten with the skin on for the added fiber, is a simple and well-supported choice. Grapes. Fruit number 5, grapes. Grapes bring a different compound to the table. Flavonoids, including resveratrol, which is concentrated especially in the skins of red and purple grapes. Flavonoids is a broad category, which includes the anthocyanins in blueberries and cherries, and the resveratrol in grapes, have been studied for anti-inflammatory and antioxidant activity throughout the body, including in cardiovascular tissue. And this connects back to kidneys more directly than people expect. Your kidneys and your cardiovascular system are deeply linked. High blood pressure damages kidney blood vessels over time, and damaged kidneys, in turn, make blood pressure harder to control. It's a two-way relationship. So a food that supports healthy blood vessels is, indirectly, supporting your kidneys too. From a nutrient content standpoint, grapes are generally considered a moderate, manageable choice in most kidney-conscious diets when portioned appropriately. They're not as low in potassium as, say, apples or blueberries, but they're also not among the higher potassium fruits like bananas, oranges, or avocados. Portion control matters more with grapes than with apples or berries, simply because it's easy to eat a large volume of small grapes without noticing. A reasonable bedtime portion is around 15 to 20 grapes, ideally red or purple for the higher flavonoid content in the skin. Jar. Fruit number 6, raspberries. Raspberries are the fruit on this list most people underestimate, and they deserve more attention than they usually get. Raspberries are exceptionally high in fiber for a fruit, often cited around 8 grams per cup, which is more fiber than most vegetables per serving. That fiber matters for 2 reasons relevant to kidney health. First, the blood sugar stabilization effect we talked about with apples applies here too, arguably even more strongly given the fiber content. Second, fiber feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut microbiome, and there's a growing area of research, still developing, worth being honest about that, looking at the relationship between gut microbiome health and chronic kidney disease progression. The theory is that an imbalanced gut microbiome can increase production of certain toxins that the kidneys then have to work harder to filter out. Diets richer in fiber are one of the more consistently suggested ways to support a healthier gut environment. Nutritionally, raspberries are low in potassium and phosphorus relative to their fiber content, which is part of why they show up on kidney-friendly food lists as a genuinely high-value fruit, a lot of nutritional benefit for a fairly low mineral load. A solid bedtime portion is around 3/4 to 1 cup of fresh raspberries, plain. Pineapple. Fruit number 7, pineapple. Pineapple is the fruit most likely to surprise you on this list, mostly because people associate tropical fruit with high potassium, and that assumption is actually backwards here. Compared to other tropical fruits like bananas, mangoes, or oranges, pineapple is notably lower in potassium, which is exactly why renal dietitians frequently recommend it as a tropical fruit swap for people who miss that flavor profile but need to watch their potassium intake. Pineapple's other claim to fame is bromelain, an enzyme found in the fruit's stem and flesh that's been studied for anti-inflammatory properties. Some smaller studies have looked at bromelain's effects on inflammatory markers in the body, though it's worth being straightforward here. Most of that research is early stage, and bromelain supplements, concentrated, isolated doses, are a very different thing from eating a serving of fresh pineapple. Eating the fruit gives you a modest amount of bromelain alongside vitamin C, manganese, and fiber, rather than the concentrated dose used in supplement research, so think of this as a nice bonus, rather than a proven anti-inflammatory treatment. A reasonable bedtime portion is about 3/4 of a cup of fresh pineapple chunks, which delivers good flavor without excess sugar. Red circle fruit number 8. The one with a catch: cranberries. And now the fruit I promised you at the start of this video. The one that comes with a real catch that most videos in this space either get wrong or skip entirely. Cranberries have a long-standing reputation for urinary tract health, and that reputation isn't pure folklore. There's real research behind it, but it's more nuanced than the marketing suggests. According to the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health, the proanthocyanidins in cranberries are thought to work by preventing certain bacteria, particularly E. coli, from sticking to the wall of the bladder, which is the first step in most urinary tract infections. Since 2020, the FDA has allowed cranberry supplement labels to carry a claim that there is limited evidence that daily consumption of specific amounts of cranberry supplements may reduce the risk of recurrent UTIs in healthy women. That's a real, if cautious, endorsement. But NCCIH is also clear that research results have been inconsistent across different populations. Studies in elderly people in long-term care facilities and in pregnant women have shown mixed results, and cranberry has not been shown to help in some higher-risk groups. It's also not effective as a treatment for a UTI you already have, only as a possible aid in prevention. This matters for people over 60 specifically because UTIs become more common with age, and recurrent UTIs are a genuine burden on kidney health. Untreated or repeated urinary infections can, over time, contribute to kidney inflammation and even permanent scarring in some cases. So a food that might modestly lower your UTI risk carries real relevance for long-term kidney protection, not just bladder comfort. Now, here's the catch. First, sugar. Cranberries are naturally very tart. More tart than almost any other common fruit, which means nearly all commercial cranberry juice is heavily sweetened to be palatable, and dried cranberries are almost always coated in added sugar too. A high-sugar bedtime snack works against you on the blood sugar and kidney front we talked about with apples and raspberries, potentially outweighing any bladder health benefit. Second, and more important if you have diagnosed kidney disease, cranberry supplements and concentrated cranberry juice can be genuinely risky for certain kidney patients. Large amounts of cranberry have been associated with an increased risk of kidney stones in susceptible people, due to their oxalate content. And separately, cranberry can interact with warfarin, the blood-thinning medication many older adults are on, potentially altering how the drug works in your body. If you're on blood thinners or you have a history of kidney stones, this is a fruit to specifically discuss with your doctor before making it a regular habit. It is not automatically safe because it's a fruit. So the honest bottom line on cranberries: unsweetened, whole, or very lightly sweetened cranberries in a small quantity can be a reasonable occasional addition for general urinary and kidney wellness in someone without diagnosed kidney disease or a blood thinner prescription. But this is the one fruit on the list where check with your doctor first isn't just a disclaimer, it's a genuinely important step, especially for anyone on warfarin or with a history of kidney stones. Cup with straw. The bedtime kidney tonic. Here's the simple 3-fruit bowl one mentioned, something you can put together tonight in under 5 minutes with ingredients from almost any grocery store. The bedtime kidney bowl: 1/2 cup pitted tart cherries, fresh or frozen and thawed. 3/4 cup fresh blueberries. 1/2 cup sliced strawberries. That's it. No juice, no added sugar, no syrup. Just combine the 3 in a small bowl about an hour or 2 before bed. Why these 3 together? You're getting tart cherries for their melatonin content and research-supported sleep benefits, blueberries and strawberries for their anthocyanin and antioxidant load, and all 3 fruits are on the lower end for potassium, phosphorus, and sodium compared to many other fruit options, while still being genuinely low in added sugar since nothing here is processed or juiced. If you want to make it feel a little more like a treat, a small dollop of plain, unsweetened yogurt on top adds some protein without loading up on sodium or phosphorus additives. Just check the label, since some flavored yogurts have surprisingly high phosphorus content from additives, not from the dairy itself. Phone when to call your doctor. Fruit is a small piece of a much bigger picture, and no fruit, no matter how well researched, replaces medical care. Please talk to your doctor if you notice swelling in your legs, ankles, or around your eyes that doesn't go away. Noticeably less urination than usual, or urine that looks foamy or discolored. Persistent fatigue that isn't explained by anything else. Ongoing back or side pain, particularly near where your kidneys sit. Unexplained high blood pressure readings. Signs of a urinary tract infection, burning, urgency, or pelvic discomfort that don't resolve. These symptoms don't automatically mean kidney disease, but they're worth a conversation, especially after 60, when routine blood work like a simple eGFR and creatinine test can catch early kidney changes long before symptoms show up. Clipboard case study. Let's make this concrete with a simple, realistic example. Not a real patient, just an illustration of how this plays out day to day. Picture someone in their late 60s with well-controlled stage 2 chronic kidney disease, meaning their kidney function is mildly reduced but stable, and they're not on dialysis. Their nephrologist has told them potassium and phosphorus don't need to be tightly restricted at this stage, but they do want to keep inflammation down and blood pressure steady, since that's what protects the kidney function they still have. For this person, a nightly small bowl combining Tart cherries, blueberries, and strawberries fits well. Low sodium, modest potassium, no added sugar, and genuinely research supported for both antioxidant support and mild sleep benefits. Cranberries, in a small unsweetened portion, would likely also be fine for this person, assuming no history of kidney stones and no blood thinners. Now picture a different person, late 70s, stage 4 CKD, on a potassium-restricted diet under close supervision from a renal dietitian. For this person, the same bowl needs adjustment. Tart cherries in a small, controlled portion are likely still fine given their lower potassium profile, but a full cup of sweet cherries or any cherry juice concentrate could push potassium too high for the day. Cranberries, especially any concentrated form, would need an explicit go-ahead from their care team given the oxalate and kidney stone consideration. Same fruit list, two very different appropriate portions, which is exactly why, ask your kidney dietitian how much is right for you, isn't just a disclaimer. It's the actual, individualized answer. Warning real talk. I want to be straight with you about something before we wrap up. No fruit, no bedtime bowl, no single food is going to reverse existing kidney disease or replace the medications and treatment plan your doctor has you on. If a video, including this one, ever makes it sound like a bowl of berries is a cure, that's a red flag, not good information. What the research actually supports is more modest, and honestly more useful. A diet built around low sodium, low phosphorus, antioxidant-rich whole fruits, alongside good blood pressure control and stable blood sugar, is one piece of a broader kidney protective lifestyle. It's not a replacement for your medications, your dialysis schedule if you're on one, or your nephrologist's guidance. It's a supporting habit that works alongside all of that. And one more honest note on the sleep research specifically. Tart cherries have some of the better clinical evidence in the food for sleep category, but even there, researchers describe the evidence as promising and limited, not proven and universal. Some people notice a real difference, others don't. That's just where the science currently stands, and I'd rather tell you that clearly than oversell it. Check mark your action plan. Here's how to actually use everything we covered tonight, in 3 simple steps. Step 1. Pick 1 or 2 fruits from this list, not all 8 at once, and add a small portion to your evening routine this week. Start with whichever one is easiest to find fresh right now. Step 2. If you have any diagnosed kidney condition, are on dialysis, or take blood thinners, bring this list to your next appointment or call your renal dietitian before making any of these a daily habit. Ask specifically about your personal potassium and phosphorus targets. They're different for everyone depending on your lab numbers and treatment. Step 3. Pay attention to how you feel. Track your sleep, your energy, and if you're managing CKD, keep an eye on your regular labs with your care team to see how your body responds over time. Food changes are gradual. Give it a few weeks, not one night, before drawing conclusions. Play button. What's next? If this was helpful, The natural next step is a full breakdown of the vegetables that support kidney health the same way, because vegetables actually have a much bigger effect on potassium and phosphorus management than fruit does for most people managing CKD. Let me know in the comments if that's the video you want next, and subscribe so you don't miss it. Stay well, take care of those kidneys, and I'll see you in the next one. Disclaimer. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute medical or nutritional advice, diagnosis, or treatment. All information is sourced from recognized U.S. health authorities including the National Kidney Foundation,
Hello,
NIDDK,
I'm Dr. Patel.
NIH,
Today I'll explain how to manage
NIH,
common cold
Mayo
symptoms
Clinic,
at home and
peer-reviewed
when to see a
research.
physician.
Individual dietary needs vary significantly depending on kidney function stage, treatment type, and medications. Always consult your doctor or kidney dietitian before making dietary changes, especially if you have advanced CKD, are on dialysis, or take anticoagulants
Hello,
such
I'm
as
Dr.
warfarin.
Patel. Today I'll
The
explain how
presenter
to
in this
manage
video
common
is
cold
not a
symptoms at
licensed
home
physician.
and when to see a
This channel
physician.
is independently produced for educational purposes only.